Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today for day 4 of the COUG and MOOG 2021 annual conference, virtual this year. We hope to see you in person in Chicago next year. We're super happy to have you, second to the last day. For those of you who have been spending your lunch hour with us, thank you so much. And for those of you just catching on for the first time today, welcome. We hope to see you tomorrow as well. My name is Monica Lee, Marketing Director at Viscosity North America, and also the conference chair for the Midwest Oracle User Group. So if you ever frequent this conference in person, maybe you've seen me before, but I hope to see you guys next year, if not. Real quick, a few housekeeping rules for our presentation today. It is a live webinar, so please feel free to submit questions throughout today's session. Our speaker will get to them when he can, most likely at the following of the webinar. If we do go over in time, don't fear. My awesome colleague, Katie, will send you a recording of today's webinar if you need to jump off. But if you can stick with us, we're happy to have you. Other than that, you should see the questions panel where you can submit questions. If you have any non-technical questions, Katie and myself will try to get to you when we can. And otherwise, look for a follow-up email from Katie Barnes. She'll have everything you need after today's webinar. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rich, who is the president of the Midwest Oracle User Group.
Hey everybody, thank you for coming. We really appreciate you coming out virtually. Next year we will have things in person. For those who came to the first day, we talked about the database. The second day we talked a lot about Apex and the stack they used for COVID. The third day we talked about Machine Learning 101 and RPA. Today we're going to talk about robotics, but before we go into that and with Burcin, just to let you know, tomorrow we will have Marcos Arancibia, who is the Senior Principal Product Manager of Machine Learning, with a session called Now You've Got a Model, Now What? And he is one of those machine learning gurus at Oracle. So join us tomorrow, same time, same station. And with that, I'm going to pass it to our sponsor, Katie Barnes from Viscosity, who is sponsoring this webinar and running everything for us. From the Viscosity headquarters, her and Monica. And with that, Katie, take it away.
Thank you, Rich. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for joining us today. My name is Katie Barnes, Account Manager here at Viscosity. We are very excited to be sponsoring this conference and are looking forward to more presentations on Thursday and Friday. Before we get things started today, I'm going to briefly introduce you guys to Viscosity and go over some of our different services and areas of expertise. Viscosity is an Oracle partner. We work very closely with Oracle Product Management, and we have 4 Oracle ACEs among our leadership. At our core, we help businesses adapt and thrive with the changing needs, demands, and technologies that businesses face. Many Oracle customers are increasingly relying on professional service partners like ourselves to serve as trusted advisors and help make better purchasing decisions in an area that is constantly evolving. Our business model at Viscosity is designed to implement technologies and solutions that will ensure your challenges and goals are met with. And we do this by building close relationships with individuals like yourself, being an open and honest resource, and showcasing our different areas of expertise through our webinars and workshops. So our areas of expertise really fall under 3 pillars: data, apps, and infrastructure. A large bulk of our business is on the database side, including data integration, data warehousing, zero downtime migration to latest versions, including 19C. And overall, we help improve performance at the database level. In our applications practice, we do a lot of Apex development, EPM, ERP, we develop custom apps. And lastly, our infrastructure and hardware practice includes Oracle's public cloud offering, bare metal, engineered systems. And we were actually named Oracle's ODA Partner of the Year back in 2019. So as you can see here, we're very active and recognized within the Oracle community. We do pretty much everything when it comes to Oracle, but these are some of our more broadened areas of expertise. As I mentioned earlier, we have a very close relationship with Oracle, and the people that you see here on this slide represent some of Viscosity's leaders and our Oracle ACEs. These guys are amazing. They present at Open World and Oracle user group conferences all over the globe, and they're eager to meet with you and your team and help uncover how we can best support you. Trust me when I say there's nothing better than having 4 ACEs in your hand. This slide showcases some of our other services, and I'll just briefly highlight a few of them. In our team at Viscosity, we have experts on Oracle license management that have actually come from Oracle and worked in that space for several years. We provide all of our customers with the best knowledge and the best practices on how to manage and maximize your Oracle investment. Obviously, extremely important for businesses. We are probably most known for our zero downtime migrations and upgrade services. We've helped customers migrate from AIX to Linux with zero downtime, and more recently have been helping our customers with upgrading to Oracle 19c. With our performance health checks, we can fix pain points before they become real problems for our customers. Definitely another popular service of ours. And lastly, we have a full stack of DBA services as well. If you have any questions regarding our services, please reach out to one of us. We're always happy to answer any questions that you might have. This slide showcases some of the work that Viscosity has put into becoming trusted advisors who have actually written the books on Oracle's latest technologies and versions, anything from virtualization, pluggable databases, to Oracle Exadata. If any of the books that you see on this slide interest you, or if you're interested in connecting with one of us, again, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to share our resources with you and your team. Alrighty, last slide before I hand it back over to Rich. If you haven't already checked out our events page, please do so using the URL that you see here, viscosityna.com/event. We update this page on a monthly basis with our webinars, workshops, and other events that we have going on, and it's a really great resource. I will be sending out a copy of the slides and a recording of today's presentation to everyone later this afternoon, hopefully, so just be on the lookout for an email from me. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions during the webinar, feel free to use the questions or chat box in the GoToWebinar panel, or you can also email me directly. My email address is here at the bottom of this slide. So with all that being said, thanks again for tuning in with us, and I'll go ahead and pass it back over to Rich so he can introduce today's speaker.
Thanks so much, Katie. And I also wanted to say thanks, Monica, for all you do to help us coordinate this virtual conference at the MOUG. Now I'd like to introduce Dr. Burcin Kaplanoglu. He's a recognized industry expert, innovator, thought leader. He leads the innovation for the industries, and he's co-founder of the Oracle Industries Innovation Laboratory. He joined Oracle 4 years ago from the construction and engineering industry. He is the chairman of the board committee at the Institute for AI in Construction. He was also recognized as one of the BuiltWorks 2020 Mavericks in the technologist category. He is one of just 7 AEC innovators by BD&C magazine, and he received Oracle's Construction and Engineering Let's Build It Award in 2020. He's also one of Engineering News Record's top 20 under 40 in 2016, and he's an adjunct professor in Northwestern University's McCormick School of Engineering. This is very, very well known in the industries, and we are very lucky to have him here, and he's going to talk about Oracle's Industries Innovation Lab, which is right here in Chicago. So with that, I'm going to move it over to Burcin.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Rich. And thanks for organizing this. So welcome. And unfortunately, there is an issue that I can't turn my webcam on, so you will not be able to see me. But I was hoping you could actually see me in person. But we're going to do it this way. And if you have any questions, you can ask them in the questions box, and I'll try to answer them. And thanks for the kind words and introduction. So let's talk about what the lab is and where we are and what we're doing with it. But I'm actually very excited for this group because, yes, it's in Chicago. So the location is actually in Deerfield. If you're driving up north on 94 towards Milwaukee, when you are, in Deerfield, And when you pass on the highway, you might have seen this big building, all glass wall. It looks like a hangar on the right side of the road when you're going up north. So that's the building. It looks pretty bright at night when you pass by, because that's the only real, I'll say large structure on that side of the road. But if you're driving up, you will see this building. And today I really want to talk about, less about the building, more about what we're doing at the location. So let's talk about why we built this. So our mission is to really work with customers and partners across industries to co-innovate, experiment, and bring life to technologies. Now, that's a mission statement. Let me break this down into exactly what that means. One part is we test, validate, explore technologies. We also provide immersive experiences. So the first part about testing, validating technologies, let me give a specific example. Let's say it's a startup and they have a specific sensor, and they say, well, we want to be able to link this to your scheduling application, or we want to link it to your an application that we have in utility space or food and beverage, whatever it is, right? So let's say they have a sensor that they say it provides valuable data that's going to complement Oracle products and what we're trying to build here. So this actually space allows us to do that. So let's say this is a concrete sensor. It actually recognizes when the concrete is poured, and it's going to enable us to automatically notify the schedule activity. So in the past, we actually didn't have any place to try this, right? We would rely on customers to say, yeah, we tried it or didn't try it, how this worked, didn't work. This place actually allows us to do it. So when, in this case, a startup or a partner would be able to come and actually demonstrate us how this technology works, we will test and validate it. And then we'll talk about what does the integration look like, how would data flow, and we don't do this in vacuum. This is why it's important we do it with customers. So that's one part. We also try, test, validate our own innovations here. So like we launched certain AI-based products. So the lab actually allows us to try that. And I'm gonna talk details of that workflows and the use cases later part of the presentation. The other part is how we work with customers. Yes, we receive their feedback, but we also use the lab as in a way to provide some immersive experiences. For many of our customers, especially in the industry space, and if you look, the industries we serve could be construction, communication, utilities, food and beverage, hospitality, retail, anything. It's really physical, right? In the physical world that we touch our customer's customer. So if you look at those industries, seeing is believing, touching is believing, trying is believing. So we work with customers and partners really on the workflows, how to actually improve them, how to get them to a place. So the lab is not built like an exhibit or a theater. It's really built for the purpose of trying and validating and making these technologies work. Now, let's talk about how it started. Again, the same location. So if you look at this image, left side of this image is the Highway 94, and there is an existing Oracle, there's still an existing Oracle office building on the right side. That's what you're seeing in the image. So back in 2018, in August, we actually built a small construction site. And when you look at this image, it doesn't look that exciting from far, right, architecturally or visually, because it is a big site trailer, a site office, steel structure, some fenced area, some gravel, right? And this all started with us in the construction engineering business. The idea was, hey, if we build this site, will the customers engage with us? Will the partners engage with us? Can we solve their problems in the physical world with the digital technologies we have, also partners have? So we built this August 2018. It actually, you have been part of Oracle, been supporting us for a long time. You know that we have high aspirations for our projects. We had high expectations. It even exceeded our expectations. We actually had guests coming from all around the world, because originally we thought, well, we built this here, we're gonna try it, and we picked some 5 key focus areas and we're gonna focus on those. And we actually had guests come from Australia, New Zealand, China, Europe, Middle East, South America. I mean, they start coming, Saudi, all around the world, and staying and spending 2-3 days with us. because this not only allowed us to test and validate, we also were able to show existing workflows, the things we're working on, and work with them. So we built this facility in 2018, and this was operational for 15 months. End of 2019, we actually start building a new facility at the same location. While we're building that, we also used our technologies and partner technologies to build it. So what you're seeing here is Oracle Construction Engineering has AConnect for project management, Primavera for scheduling, Textura for payments, plus these 14, 15 partner technologies. And these technologies are, we work with these partners the first 15 months. I'm going to go back to that slide on the site. What we did is then what we built with them in terms of integrations and use cases, we actually put them to work. We put them to work to build a lab on this location. I'm gonna play a video. I don't think sound is gonna come through, so when I do this, I'm gonna walk you guys through what is here. It starts with a time lapse of the building construction, and you're seeing, you know, we used drones to capture reality capture. We used Boston Dynamics Spot with laser scanner. You're seeing it how it's actually used on the site. We use various technologies from reality capture to laser scanning. Like this image you're seeing is laser scanning that's captured with that robot that is color laser scan. We also use technologies to overlay with the 3D point cloud. That's what you were seeing, overlaid with the BIM model, the building information model. That's what you're seeing now. Those dots are actually 360 walk cameras. Now you're seeing augmented reality, and eventually the building is complete. So what you're seeing is a hangar space. There is meeting spaces in it. This is the laser scanner. We have been trying, you know, fall alerts, rovers, remote control equipment. Again, this is a test bed for us to try and validate these technologies, but also, you know, when they're in different phases, we are able to showcase them to our visitors. Most visitors has been customers because they've been very interested because we have been working to solve problems on the work sites. And we also provide them, when they come here, like day in a life experiences. So if you are a utility customer, you're communication, you are construction, we're able to provide you an experience called like day in a life of a construction worker, day in the life of a project manager. So you will be able to follow a script. It is role play. You actually, we tell you, hey, you're on a construction site, it's behind schedule, and you actually solve problems that you would solve running your operations in this location with the technology. So this again is not a theater. It is not you know, I'll say it's not a demonstration. We let them actually live through what those problems would be and how they would solve it with technology. So that's a very different approach than any place that we actually have tried these. And what happened is, I mentioned a lot of construction technology until now. This lab actually expanded to Oracle Utilities and Oracle Communications too. So there are 3 tenants of the lab. Which are those businesses are actually actively working various parts, from product development to marketing to test and validation to experiences. Those 3 businesses of Oracle, construction, utilities, and communication actually are the tenants in Chicago. Let me start with the use cases because again, devil's in the details, right? So the first one is about Visual Command Center, and I think this is a good example of how Lab actually supports Oracle's also internal product development. So the image you see on the left is me. That that's a very early version model of the lab. Originally, we thought it will just build it like a box, like a hangar, and then if you this building actually is all glass wall all around. So the later model is seen on the bottom right, and so we had a prototype of virtual reality. So our product, AConnect, which is used for project management, has building information modeling capability. So you could put on a screen, you can You go and go into room to room. You can tag an object. You can look at the metadata. These features were already built into the product. What we have done is we enhanced the product, and that is an Oculus headset. So we tried to say, okay, what if our customer just buys a headset, just plugs into their machine, and it works? So meaning you actually go into VR and you'll be able to interact with the model in virtual reality. So we did a prototype, we put it on the site. So we opened in August 2018, it was fall 2018, we put it on the site, and then we got great feedback from visitors, especially customers, saying how valuable this is. And around January 2019, based on the feedback, we decided to productize it, and that became a GA product for us around April, May of 2019, so 3-4 months later. So again, this is a story of how we have taken feedback, customers and visitors, and we thought this technology will be beneficial to our customers and actually turn it into a product. So since May 2019, any of our customers can acquire a $300-400 Oculus headset, and then all they do is plug into their port on their machine, laptop, or desktop, and then go on the cloud. This application is on the cloud, and click enter VR, and it works. You're in it. You can tag things. You can communicate with others. This is not an avatar technology. Like, you're not actually, but I can go into this from Chicago, or Rich can come into it from another location. We can be in the same model. We won't see each other, but we'll be able to tag and interact with it at the same time, and then we'll be able to see the changes that one person does. So that's how it works. But this whole idea here was, can we create a digital twin of the asset? So during the construction, we asked the general contractor to provide us a full digital model of the building. And this is the first project that Oracle itself, Real Estate and Facilities, received a full digital model of the asset. We didn't want every metadata for every feature and function. We asked them to provide us metadata for the things that are actually operational. As an example, for the building, anything that's mechanical systems, HVAC, electrical, things that require operations and maintenance has the metadata built into the model. So this enabled us to not only use modeling capabilities for design, but for construction, and also tied to facility management. The next one is what we did with scheduling. So for this project, some of you might have heard, so Primavera is #1 scheduling product in the world, and it's not just used for engineering construction, it's used for a lot of engineering. So if you're building next generation fighter plane, you need a scheduling tool, you use that. You're building a Navy ship, you use Primavera. Some of our customers are in manufacturing, they use Primavera scheduling for production planning. But for this project, we use the next generation of Primavera. It's on OCI, it is on the next generation cloud, and it runs the application and enables us to do lean task management. So there's a big trend in the last 3 to 5 years to bring the lean processes into construction, and we were able to combine the critical path method and the task management into one product, and that's what it does. So the person on the left, is you're seeing those sticky notes normally happen in a conference room, is actually fully digitized. So last year, as we had many issues, and think about it, this project is built in 2020, so the contractor actually was able to use this full digital product remotely. We didn't have to put people in the same room. They were able to actually work from different locations. So this again showed the power of these applications and what they can do in the digital world. Another example I want to talk about is deliveries. Well, whether you're in construction, whether it's in retail, whether it's in communication, whatever industry you're in, we need to track where the materials are, and we need to know what's happening in production, shipment to delivery, to where it's on the location, how it's installed. So what you're seeing, the image on the right, is gate readers. So we implemented RFID readers on materials. We were able to track them on production, what percent is in production, what percent is shipped, what percent arrived, And this also allowed us to do contactless site deliveries. As you can imagine, those tags are linked to certain bill of materials, then we'll be able to register them, and then that actually affect the schedule. So we actively use this on the site. Again, we didn't track every material. We tracked the materials that have major impact to schedule because that made the most sense. That was the most for we would get on return on investment. So what we have done is like we track the steel, we track the mechanical system, certain things that are actually relevant for the project. We mentioned robotics. So this is another example of how we work with partners and ourselves and a startup. So there's two, actually, there's partner, there's customers, startups, and us. All four of us are in this workflow. So Faro is a company which has products on laser scanning. So beginning of 2020, they came to the site, they were doing laser scanning. Again, humans are doing laser scanning. That's how it started. Around April, May timeline, Faro brought us Boston Dynamics Spot. So that robot, I'm sure you guys have seen it, is, I call it, it's YouTube famous, has 20-30 million views, especially with the dancing capabilities that launched. I think it's getting a lot of attention. What we proved is the robot can do more than just dancing. So starting in April last year, Faro actually brought the Spot and the laser scanner, and they worked on integrating the robot with the scanner. And the way it works is you train the robot on the locations, and then it goes to a certain location, stops there, and then fully integrated with the scanner, it scans the site, and then goes to another location, stops itself, scans the site. That's how it works. But one of the key things with the robot was when it first showed up, no surprise, everybody wanted to see it. So, workers are working on the site, so this became a hot spot. Everyone wanted to see how the robot works, what it does. But later on, this actually became part of operations. It became like any other product that's on the site, like a skid steer, an excavator, or a power tool. So we saw the big shift from super exciting, nice thing to look at, and come and take pictures of it, to okay, this is just another tool on the site. The way we use it is laser scan data will be saved in Oracle ACANX as project management, and we would take the reality capture data from laser scan, the coordinated models, and the schedule, and then we will actually show all of them in one place on another product called Reconstruct. So Reconstruct is a startup. They are in Oracle for Startups. They use OCI, and they have a technology to take reality capture, and reality capture can be any of these on the left. So it could be photos, laser scan, LiDARs, drones, 360 videos, live cameras, and it could be anything. And then actually has the ability to overlay the model, the schedule, and the reality capture all in one place. So how did we use this? We use this in weekly meetings with during general contractor, architect, and the owner in this case is Oracle. We use it to do our weekly meetings to review the progress, what's happening on the site, what's going to happen in the following week, what are the changes. So we use it for that. That's for contractor to use it with the owner. They also use these technologies in one place as for the work with the subcontractors. So this enabled us to keep all the data in one place as our products are in the middle of the workflow. Now, again, this is a construction use case, but so far, if you think about the big perspective, everything I've shown is we talked about scheduling, right? We talked about material deliveries. We talked about progress and tracking things. Everything I've shared so far is applicable to many industries, right? It's not just construction. It's applicable to manufacturing. It's applicable to retail. It's applicable to utilities. So these are all applicable workflows that you can clearly see the benefits in various industries. Another one is we implemented with our partner a social distancing technology. So what they do is all the photos are actually processed, and the data goes into our product, then into theirs, and it tags them. In this case, they had a way to tag site cleanliness, work types, other things, and classify the images. But during pandemic, what they've done is they actually modified it, and what you're seeing here is actually will tag workers in groups. This did not tag the distances, but it was able to capture all the images. We also have built prototypes. So what you're seeing here is a prototype, and actually the image you see here is in front of the building. It was able to capture what's happening on the site. I'm going to play it so you'll be able to see the video. So as we have tried to do this, you'll see that it will identify the workers, the person. Actually, I'm in that video. It's kind of an eye test, but if you can see it, it shows people moving. It constantly measures the distance. So we have used this type of technology as we run it on OCI, and we use computer vision to see how would that affect, how can we develop something, and then this is a pure prototype. Now, until so far, what I've shared is what did we do, build the lab, manage the lab, and now I want to shift the gears a little bit and kind of talk about what are we going to do next, right? And we build the lab to future-proof it, and to future-proof it, we built the lab in a way that we could collect the data. So what you're seeing here is from lighting to smart parking to water to electrical to HVAC to all these systems. We actually built a data lake to collect all this in one place. And we have solar panels, we have Tesla batteries, we have parking, we have all these systems. Our lightings has our lights have motion sensors. So all this is built so we could collect the data of the building, and we're going to use it for our own R&D. We're going to use it to see how the building is functioning. We're going to use it to see how we can relate, let's say, energy data to this and other initiatives that we have. Especially, since you guys, I'm sure, heard about the announcements we did in sustainability. So this is really our test bed. This is our really test bed to see how we can collect the building data. And sometimes I joke, time to say, this might be the smartest lab building in the world, because we build it with a lot of data collection and systems and all that stuff. And again, the whole purpose of creating this is to be able to collect the data and look at it and be able to work on it. Now you're seeing a snapshot of what that system looks like. So it's a model. This data you see here is live power. Like when you see the building total 2 to 7.4 kilowatts, that's actually live data feeding into from the systems. So all these things, that from space utilization to continuous commissioning, like the building can recognize the weather outside and adjust itself for commissioning for the temperature that it requires. Again, we are experimenting, we are trying, we're pulling all the data together, and the whole mission here is to how can we capture all this and to make it smarter for us to work. Now you're seeing, occupancy and what it looks like. And the next part of this, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to play a video, and then we're gonna see the answer any questions you have. So the video, we recorded this for another Oracle user group event, and Ashish Agarwal works for Oracle Utilities, and he did a walkthrough of the lab, and then he also showed us some of the things are built for Oracle Utilities, and specifically it's built for how we serve our customer's customer. You're going to see that we actually even built an apartment in the lab, in the sense it's a condo, it's like an apartment rental, like a condo unit. It has a full kitchen, washer, dryer, appliances, IoT devices. We just don't have a bed, that's what we're missing. It's like a studio apartment size, and he's going to show that to you too. We also have built a full model of a small town to experiment some of these use cases. It uses Oracle IoT Cloud, other Oracle OCI services, and it enables us to basically try them on a model. So I'm going to play the video now. You should be hearing the sound. So Ashish is actually going to walk us through next 8 minutes. And now Ashish is going to take over. He's actually going to walk around and show some of the things they've been been working on. We actually have a smart condo built into the lab as part of this. There is whole appliances, as I said, solar panels, Tesla batteries, all that stuff. So he's going to actually walk you guys through.
So this is Ashish Agarwal. I'm part of the utilities industries. And we are really excited to be part of this innovation lab here. So I'm on the first floor of the innovation lab. So let me quickly turn my camera. You'll see Burcin, he was talking from there. And I'm in the dry lab area here, in the viewing area in the dry lab. And this is where, we're planning to kind of use this area as an outdoor space, because a lot of utilities assets are outside. So this is the area where we have done some work with drones. And then we are planning to kind of have like poles and stuff like that we can kind of work with. Just kind of quickly kind of give you the tour. This is kind of the viewing area that you can view the space down here. And it's going to give you a little bit of the perspective.
You see Pete
that the customers can see in the dry lab area. So what I'm going to do for my section is I'm going to give you a tour of a couple of exhibits that we have built here in the innovation lab. So I'm walking towards our first exhibit that we call the storytelling wall. So this is the giant touch screen that we use to tell stories to our customers. So our customers from a utility industry perspective are the utilities executives that are part of the utilities, like electric, water, gas utilities, and also their customers, the people who actually consume energy, the consumers like you and us. So this particular exhibit is to kind of talk about different personas from the utility industry's perspective, talk about the problems or challenges that personas have, and how do our solutions, Oracle Utility Solutions, address those challenges. So this wall is designed to be very interactive, and it's kind of inviting people to come up to it. Multiple people can stand side by side, and they can play with these personas, and I'm going to move them around. And then I can click on these personas to start the journey from that particular persona's perspective. And then we call this movements that matter. So now all of these are different movements that kind of matter for this particular persona. And as I tab through these movements, I can learn about the challenges that happen, and then also talk about how our solutions address those challenges. So to us, this is kind of one of the exhibits that we wanted to build in this space to really kind of have our customers who visit this lab, our visitors to this lab, interact with this and interactively kind of learn about how our solutions address some of those challenges. Now, this exhibit has been very, very successful, although it was originally designed to be played on this giant wall. But as our pre-sales and as our sales force saw this particular exhibit, they wanted to use them for the remote presentations also. So this becomes a really good way to talk about your products, talk about some of the challenges that the customers face, and how our solutions can address them. This particular application, works well on this kind of giant screen, and also kind of scales down to like iPads or just like a shared over the web in a Zoom meeting. So just kind of a good interactive way for customers to learn about our applications. So now I'm walking into a second exhibit, which is the Smart Studio. As I walk into the Smart Studio, you will see a connected hub. Say hi to Jose here. We'll meet with him in just a minute. But I'm going to give you a tour of our Smart Studio. Now, this is the space that we created to have our visitors really kind of get down into the shoes of an end consumer and experience what a smart home or smart condo is going to look like, and see how our technologies, along with some of the smart technologies from our partners, can really help consumers learn about energy in a new and interesting way. So here we have a fully furnished condo. We have electric range. This is Wi-Fi enabled, so we can control this remotely. Same thing with the hood. A dishwasher. This is a smart fridge with a giant tablet, and it can run various applications on it. So let me just kind of pull up one of the applications that we are working with. This is the Smart Things application, and here, all of these smart appliances that I talked about, it kind of talks about different states, and I can control them from here. This is kind of the utility closet area of the smart studio. This is the Tesla battery Burcin was talking about. There is solar panels on top of the roof that are kind of fed down, and we have these 2 sub-meters that can capture amount of energy that's being generated, that is being consumed, energy that is going to the battery, and all of this kind of flows into the data lake that Burcin talked about earlier. We have a smart meter, and then we specifically put the smart meter just to measure the consumption of the smart studio itself. And of course, a few more appliances that we have. In this space, and as Burcin talked about earlier, is this is the space for us to co-innovate. So there's a lot of stuff that utilities have done, but here you will see some of the exhibits that some of our partners have worked and they can demonstrate in this area. So this Copper Labs, they have given us these 3 different smart meters, so electric, water, and gas, and allows us to simulate various scenarios. So I can turn on like a simulator, a particular appliance being running, or somebody taking a shower. And because these are smart meters, we can see amount of energy, amount of resources, in this case, water being used for one of those activities, and we can see them in real time. Powerly has a bridge that talks to that smart meter earlier. Same thing with Copper. And then these smart meters will give us that real-time data feed for all of those appliances.
So Ashish just highlighted 2 partners, right? This is our way to know how these things work, right? This is our way to know, does these technologies work? Does these partners technologies, how they complement Oracle products? And then really test it with customers, right? So, if someone comes in and has a product that they are it's really innovative, it could be a sensor, it could be, anything that we actually want to try. Now, utilities actually has this space to bring it to life.
Just one of the part of this exhibit, this exhibit is designed to be self-contained in the sense that customers can come in. We have an application that runs on this kind of main screen, and the application really kind of prompts customers to come and explore, play with these different appliances that we saw, press the buttons, and then they can see the amount of energy that particular house is using. And here we are kind of highlighting one of the partner that displays the technology that allows us to know how much energy different appliances in the house we're using. And we have a few other scenarios that we play in this. There is an EV scenario, which we talk about how we can kind of help customers buy an electric vehicle. So again, the purpose of this particular exhibit is to be very immersive and kind of show how end customers can experience Oracle's product. And then utilities can really kind of form that relationship with their consumers and be an energy advisor using some of the smart technology that is installed in this room.
And now,
and tying all this together, we are doing this with partners. So we are not isolated. This is not an effort just for internal Oracle or for Oracle. And what you're seeing here is, some example of partners that are actually providing their hardware and some software at the lab that we're actually working closely with them. Now, now this section is to see if you have any questions. We got 15 minutes left. Would love to hear. Every time I click on the questions, it stopped the slide, so I stopped looking. Let me see if I can actually open this up. Rich, do you see any questions?
No questions yet, but please submit your questions. Just click on the questions tab and pass them right over to us.
I see
any
one
yet.
question.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's see. I see
I
one.
can read it.
Anthony.
Yeah. What is Oracle Innovations Lab mission statement, and how could you be involved with research and development? Do you strictly need to be employed or contracting with them?
All right, great question. So the mission statement is, I believe the second or third slide I showed is for us to test, validate, explore technologies, and then bring those technologies to life. Now, how do you get involved? So we work with partners. In that sense, the model we created works this way with ecosystem, and especially with partners. They need to be part of Oracle Partner Network, and that is one requirement. And then the rest is about looking at the use cases and figuring out how valuable that is in trying and testing and validating. So there is no subscription fee, there is no membership fee, there is no, what we have been working with partners and saying, look, if we work with you and work on the use cases and the technologies and integrations, what we really want to do is you work with us in this space. We work with us, for the lab. So there are lots of spaces like this, and I'm sure some of you might be familiar with. And those spaces actually require subscription membership. They do that way. We do not. So just being an Oracle partner is really the minimum requirement, and then the rest is all about the use cases and the integrations. And we just want the partner to actually invest their time and resources and hardware and software as much as we're investing in. For that, we don't exchange anything in between. We bring things in and they bring things in and we work together. For customers, we engage with customers significantly. We, again, follow the standard Oracle rules with engagement. Again, if they're providing feature function customer feedback, there needs to be certain agreements in place. We're basically following everything that is standard for Oracle. With the major change here is we actually do provide a physical space to do it together. So that's one. On the Oracle side, line of businesses, I mentioned a few of them earlier, could be others too. It's the same model. They actually work with the lab. They become tenants. They invest their resources from product to development to hardware to software. Again, lab is an enabler, and at a high level, this is an incubator of innovation, and we're really trying to do this both internally and externally in a way that whoever participates control their own destiny. I hope this was the explanation you were looking for.
Yeah, is there any connection with the state of Illinois or city of Chicago or any of the governmental agencies, in developing and kind of pushing some of this technology so that people are aware of it?
I want to say yes and no, not directly. Everything has been kind of indirect, not like one-to-one. Look, we can count many of those, organizations exist within city of Chicago or Illinois to do research and all that. But again, those things are, create some more of a membership, and the model is like, that's how they generate revenue, right? Our model is very different, but we actually haven't directly engaged with those entities you mentioned.
Sure.
Our engagement so far has been like national industry organizations.
Okay. And do you see something with the connected home that's going to drive that in the future?
Absolutely. There is no answering your question again. There is no specific reason why that engagement hasn't happened. There's no reason why it shouldn't happen. It just didn't happen organically.
Sure.
Yep.
I don't see any other questions. I don't know if Monica sees any. Anyone else has any questions, please submit them now.
I don't see anything else.
All right. Well, I don't know if you want to add anything else, Burcin.
No, I'm good. Actually, I do want to add one thing. Today, all of you are in Chicago. If you want to come and visit the location, we are not allowed to do that. We're hoping that's going to change in the near future. But if you do want us to host a virtual visit, we will be able to do that, something similar to this for your organizations. I think I see another question. Hold on. What is the company's philosophy or paradigm towards using AI machine learning? Is it more towards private confidential users, towards an open model? Great question. So let's I mean, I'm gonna share what I know, right? So keep that in mind. This is a large organization, and there's a lot happening in our world, especially for AI and machine learning. So there are Oracle products that are embedding AI and machine learning capabilities within the products, and that's going to continue. That's going to be like another feature and function of running business, right? That's happening, and but I'm not clear on the private confidential towards open model. I'm guessing that what that means is, so we do create technologies that is created by us, but we also work with others which are actually created in the space. Like earlier example I have given, how we work with a company SmartVid, that's the photos recognition AI. So we're not, in this model, we're not limiting ourselves to what we develop. We're actually we're open to the ecosystem, so we work with that ecosystem as much as we do our own internal development.
And did I just see something, Burcin, where you were looking to hire people for that innovation center?
Correct. So we are actually hiring. So we posted 2 positions. Great segue to that. Thank you for mentioning that. So we are hiring a program manager and a lab site manager. So we're hiring 2 roles. I think it just came online like Monday. So this is really recent. We're hiring 2 positions for the lab.
Yeah, someone sent it to me. I'm happy where I am, but I just noticed that, and I thought that's interesting. We have Burcin coming this week, and I just see this. But that's great.
Thanks for mentioning that. Absolutely. And
go ahead. As far as Chicago goes, I mean, this is one of, is it 2 innovation centers in the world? I mean, this is a very rare thing, is it not?
Yeah, it is rare. I mean, so in terms of like having this here, I think brings also to the power of Chicago, right? What Chicago is capable of, what we offer to the world and to the world of innovation. Yes, so currently, this is our location to do that. I mean, we are looking at other locations globally. We're looking at other things which we will announce probably in next 3 to 6 months. This program is in the process of expanding globally. But for now, this is our location that we bring the industries together.
And how could a company, if they wanted their company to become more involved, I know you said Oracle partners, but just private industry, how do they contact you if they wanted to know more about maybe how their company can be involved?
Sure. I mean, this is a small group, right? I guess it can come through, Rich, you can, if anyone listening to this can reach out to you, you can provide my email. That's one way. Normally it happens through Oracle channels, right? We get requests from multiple different groups who reach out to Oracle contacts and they come to us. So we could do that.
Great.
And we live stream from the site. By the way, that's the other thing. Once a month, we actually do a LinkedIn Live from the site, and it's actually streaming from Oracle Construction Engineering's LinkedIn page. So if you guys follow me and that page on LinkedIn, you'll be able to see we do once a month live streaming from the site.
All right. I want to say thank you, Burcin, so much for coming and joining us today and giving this great presentation on what the future holds. And I'll just pass it over to Monica to close us out. Monica, anything to add?
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you, Burcin, for giving us your time and expertise today. We all really appreciate it. Everyone, I hope that we see you again tomorrow for our final day of COUG and MOOG's annual virtual conference. And other than that, again, look for an email from Katie Barnes, and she'll get you a link to rewatch today's session and also a slide deck. So thank you again, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thanks, everyone. Bye now.
Thank you.